August 2001. Now, eagle eyed viewers will notice there was no video last week. That's because I was sick. I was in bed all day Saturday and Sunday last weekend and still felt really crappy Monday, Tuesday, and so didn't record a video. Still got a bit of a sniffle and a cough, so hopefully you'll excuse me if that comes up. But let's jump in to the books I read in August of 2001. The first book was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the script book, Season 2, Volume 1, which is exactly what it says, and it includes scripts for the episodes When She Was Bad, Some Assembly Required, School Hard, Inca Mummy Girl, Reptile Boy, and Halloween. The nice thing about these scripts, at least for me, is you get stuff that was cut out of the episode. So you see more what the original script looked like before editing and all that good stuff. If you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a hardcore fan like I am, it's something fun to read. Next up, we have Pay the Devil by Jack Higgins, one that we've seen many times. This is the story of Confederate Colonel Clay Fitzgerald. After the war, he's gone to Ireland, where he's got a family estate, and basically sees the states of Ireland with the peasants being trod on. This is sort of a Robin Hood or Zorro type of story, where Clay takes on the guise of a legendary, this is taking the guise, of a legendary night riding outlaw. He joins the fight against the landlords, wages a rebellion of his own. Just a great, rollicking adventure story. And if you like heroes, again, like Robin Hood or Zorro, it's a lot of fun. I've read it many times. I followed that up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Book of Fours by Nancy Holder. This is one of the hardback releases. I think when I looked it up, it said the third hardback release in all of the Buffy media tie-in books. And in this one, it takes place during season 3. So you have both Buffy and Faith are slayers. There's a bunch of seemingly natural disasters going on, but there's a big bad trying to release this ultimate evil, and she needs to kill or destroy or get the souls, whatever, of 4 slayers. And so we end up with the ghosts of Kendra and India, who have both faced this evil before. And so lots of other stuff going on, of course, with the Scooby Gang and everything. But we essentially have 4 slayers, 2 living, 2 dead, fighting against this evil. Then we have Valediction by Robert B. Parker, a Spencer novel. And this is takes place right after Susan Silverman has left Spencer, the love of his life, but she's gone. And so Spencer is basically in a state where he doesn't care whether he lives or dies. Girl is kidnapped by a cult. Spencer takes the case and is especially dangerous because he doesn't care what happens to him. It's an interesting Spencer book. I like it, but it really digs into the character of Spencer and who he is with and without Susan Silverman, and what happens when a man is at the end of his rope. Then we have Angel, Soul Trade by Thomas E. Snigoski. However you say his name. Takes place during the first season of Angel, because Doyle is there. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched Angel, Doyle doesn't make it. And essentially human souls are being used as currency. They're used for gambling. They're used for all sorts of different things. And an innocent person's soul carries the highest price, except maybe the soul of a vampire. So Angel and crew trying to bust up the soul trade. I like the Angel books, when they're well written, because it's nice, sort of supernatural noir detective stuff. If it's well done. Then we have Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk, or however you say his name. This was his third or fourth book, or is it just his second? After Fight Club, anyway. And this is the story of Tender Branson. Tender Branson's the one telling the story. He is in an airplane. He's the only person in that airplane. He's recording his story before the airplane crashes. And the chapters, if I recall correctly, are numbered backwards, like a countdown. And Tender Branson was a member of the Creedish death cult. And he's basically just telling his story and the horrific secret of the Creedish death cult. And it was wild. I didn't like it as much as I liked Fight Club, but I enjoyed it very much. Chuck Palahniuk is a great writer. I need to go back and read more of his stuff. But Survivor is pretty interesting. It's not, it's not a horror story. I love a good cult horror story, but this is more of a satire, possibly. I'm not the person to say, but Survivor, Chuck Palahniuk, I don't know. Good stuff. If you like Fight Club or any of his other stuff, Survivor, it's a good story. Then we have The Gospel According to the Simpsons by Mark I. Pinsky. And this is a nonfiction book just delving into the Simpsons and religion, and really pointed out how religion is an important aspect of the Simpsons. It's one of the few, possibly at the time, primetime television shows. Yes, it's a cartoon, it's a comedy, but religion was a big part of it. You'd see the Simpsons going to church all the time. Reverend Lovejoy was a big character, relatively speaking. He wasn't one of the main characters, but one of the main side characters. And you also had Krusty the Clown and his being Jewish, and Apu. So religion was a big part of The Simpsons, and this delved into it. And I thought it was a very interesting book. Excuse me. Then we have This Shape We're In by Jonathan Lethem. And I really don't know what to say about this. It's a 55-page book, and it's very bizarre. There's a general, I think, who's supposed to find his son. There may be a cult. There's a horse. There's people inside something. It's a very bizarre story. Again, when I looked it up, I saw some comparisons to Vonnegut. It's just a strange story. If you like Jonathan Lethem's stuff, I think it's something that you should definitely read. Gun with Occasional Music is still my favorite, and another author I should go back and read more of his stuff. I read the first 4 or 5 or 6 things that he put out, and then just sort of fell away from him. And he's had some other things since then. But The Shape We're In, Jonathan Lethem, just a quick 55-page read of a very bizarre story. So if you like weird stuff, if you like Vonnegut, maybe check it out. The penultimate book for August 2001, Spider-Man Emerald Mystery by Dean Wesley Smith. And this is interesting in that it is told in the first person. Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, depending on how you want to look at it, is the person narrating this story. And it's sort of a follow-up from one of the X-Men novels where the jewels of Sitarock were destroyed, damaged, something. There's a shard from one of the emerald jewels of Sitarock that's essentially come into the hands of a villain calling themselves the Jewel, and they're creating zombies to commit robberies and things, and Spider-Man's got to take this on. Um, so, an interesting Spider-Man adventure. I think mainly the biggest selling point is that it's in first person. And then finally, the last book that I read in August 2001 is Black River Falls by Ed Gorman. I believe this is a completely standalone mystery. Um, the main character, I think, is Ben Tyler, who's falling in love with a young woman named Allison. Her roommate had been murdered a year before, and I think there's a murder currently. And of course, everything's going to tie together, and people have secrets. Black River Falls is the town that they live in, and there's secrets. What's going on? And Ben has a brother and a mother, and maybe they have secrets. Who knows? It's Ed Gorman. It's good stuff. That's it for August of 2001. Um, as usual, didn't think of a question ahead of time. Let me take a quick look at this. And nothing's coming to mind except what? How about this? What bit of media, whether it's books, movies, TV, that wasn't about religion, still had religion as a something that's pretty big in the book, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. You know, it's not necessarily a huge plot point or anything. And again, the book's not, or the movie or whatever isn't about religion. But, you know, the characters talk about religion or are seen going to church or to temple or to whatever. This is an incredibly vague question, probably very difficult to answer. I don't have an answer off the top of my head. As usual, I'm sort of looking around to see if anything comes to mind. And of course, it doesn't, because I did not think ahead. I'm just trying to think of anything that has like church going characters. Um, and I feel like there's something tickling the back of my brain that I can't quite latch onto. I suppose I could say Moon Knight, the comic book. Apparently, the main Mark Spector's Jewishness is a big part of his character. I didn't get that when I was reading it back in the day when I was younger, and when I do a reread of that old stuff, I'm going to see if I pick up on that. I do know in at least one of the more modern stories, it is something that I noticed, but it was after I'd already heard people talking about it. Um, but I don't know how much Jewishness is uh, in the character or important to who the character is. But again, that's because I haven't read it in a long time. I know there was a little bit of backlash when Oscar Isaac was announced to play Moon Knight in the TV show because he wasn't a Jewish actor. But it's that one. But I know there's something else. Something else. Just like I said, just right back here somewhere. But I can't quite get to. But maybe you can think of some. Maybe you can jog my memory. Are there any books, movies, TV shows, again, like The Simpsons, where The Simpsons is not a show about religion, but we do often see the character, again, the characters going to church. We have characters of different religions, and religion is brought up. Can you think of any? And if you can, what are the best ones? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I am @ELSmith. That is all I have for you this week. So until next week, hopefully we won't miss any more. Read more books.